You are my buddy until the end. More than a buddy, you're my best friend. I love you more than you will ever know. I will never let you go. I am your buddy until the end. More than a buddy, I'm your best friend. When you feel lonely and you start to cry, I am always by your side. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. La 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 la. We are best buddies until the end. More than just buddies, we are best friends. Don't ever leave me. Please don't say goodbye. I'll be yours till the day that I die. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin Movies. As always, I am your host and best friend, the real Geno Reynolds. And today, if you couldn't tell by the intro, we're going to be talking about the remake / reimagining of Child's Play. Now, I will warn you, there will probably be some spoilers in this review. For those that don't want to be spoiled, I will say this. I was never the biggest fan of the original Child's Play. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the movie, but I don't have this this following, this love for the original source material. So I was a little more open to the ideas that this movie was presenting. That being said, I didn't really feel much different about this one than I did the original. There was things I liked about this one, things I didn't. I thought the ideas were there. Tonally, I thought it was a bit off. I think the hardcore fans of the original, they're probably not going to like some of the changes that were made because it makes the quote-unquote character of Chucky less of a character and more of an object. I think regular horror fans that have no real allegiance to the original will probably enjoy this one a little more. That being said, if you are a big fan of the originals, please let me know, and I want to know what you guys thought of this movie. Try to keep it as spoiler free as possible. I don't want to ruin too much for those that don't want to be spoiled. So we're gonna delve a little bit into spoilers here after I talk about the what this movie's about. Okay, so there's this company that's like Apple or like Amazon even, and they have come out with this system called Buddy, which is basically turns your home and everything about your life into like a smart home and a smart life, where it can control all the stuff in your house. It adapts to you, like say it knows. It starts to learn about you. So there's video of this doll, saying, hey, you forgot your science book, before a kid goes to school and things like that. Well, anyway, a mother that works at a store that sells these ends up getting her hands on a defective doll. She kind of convinces someone to let her take it, and She takes it home and gives it to her son as an early birthday present. And as the movie goes along, this this Buddy doll, which ends up being named Chucky because of its defection, by the way, it begins to learn by what it hears and what it sees, but being that it's corrupted, it takes things differently than the normal Buddy would. And plus, something happened to it during its manufacturing, which I don't want to spoil. It just kind of sets up why it's not working. Something happens to it that it has no barriers. So whenever it starts hearing things like, I wish this person would leave, or I don't like this person, I wish they would go away, Chucky starts to take these things the wrong way. And as he goes, things start to happen, and you kind of know where this is going because it's a Child's Play movie. I'll say this. Did they need to make this movie? No. But this movie at least tried to offer something different as a remake. That being said, I think with the plot that it was giving us, you could have had it be anything. It didn't have to be the Chucky doll. It could have been, as an example in this movie, whenever they're talking about bringing out the latest installment, the Buddy 2, there's other types of dolls. They have different hair colors, different skin colors. There's some that are even bears. They look like the best way I can describe them is a satanic Teddy Ruxpin. So it could have been anything. It could have been a teddy bear. It could have been, I know it's Child's Play and it's got to be Chucky, but you could have made this movie, and people might have compared it to Chucky, but you could have done it with any type of doll. So is it necessary that this is Child's Play? No, I mean, yeah, you have a character named Andy. You have a doll named Chucky. It's a, single mom. You've got the cop character. I mean, the things are there from Child's Play. But there is no serial killer. There is no voodoo. It's all about corrupted tech. So, while I'll say this. I thought that when it was trying to be creepy, it was fairly creepy. But then there was times it was trying to be too funny. And at first I got it because, see, you've got this doll that has no limits, that has no inhibitions. It doesn't have something in its programming that says, nah, you probably shouldn't do this. They start playing pranks on, like, the main kid's mom's alcoholic boyfriend, and stuff like that. They start doing stuff to people and playing pranks with this Chucky doll, and that made sense tonally, because it's like, well, you've got this doll and your friends are like, let's make it do this, right? And then it starts to get creepy. So it was working at first, but then it gets to a point where, see, they've said things this doll, and it records things and it copies things they said sometimes. And there was just a few times where it was trying to be, it got a little funny when it probably should have just stayed creepy. I would have rather it went from funny to creepy and stayed creepy, right? But there was a time where Chucky kills somebody, and then he quotes a line that some offhand line that someone tried to get him to say earlier in the movie, and it just didn't feel like it fit there. So that tonally, it felt weird at times. But then when the crap hits the fan, so to speak, later in the movie, it felt almost like silly gore, because I wasn't taking things too seriously. Now, granted, it got a little creepy again whenever things got a little less hectic or crazy, but when it got crazy, it was kind of silly, and I kind of wish they would have kept it creepier. Granted, some of the, like I said, the weird Teddy Ruxpin type buddies were creepy and stuff like that, but as that scene was going on, you've got all sorts of stuff happening that it's almost funny, and I felt it took me out of the movie for a bit. So tonally, this movie was a bit off. Now, granted, again, when when they were trying to be creepy and they were keeping things in order, it worked. But again, it just kind of flip-flopped here and there, and I'm just like, okay. That being said, in the end, it righted itself, and it got creepy again after the hectic stuff was going on. So then it worked. Mark Hamill as Chucky. I really liked Mark Hamill as Chucky. Though you lost a little bit of, for lack of a better term, the soul of the character, he still played the character. He played the character like a computer in a way, because that's what it was. It was repeating things that this character would say. It's like, are we having fun now? And things like that. But then it would start saying those things when it was doing bad things. So I really liked the way Mark Hamill handled it. I was afraid he was going to go a little too Joker with it, but he didn't. It definitely, it felt right. His voice felt right here. Again, though, a lot of his performance was very robotic. But again, this is not a soul in a doll. This is a piece of machinery. It is a mechanical doll ran by an app. So it worked for me, and I thought he did a really good job. When it came to the other characters, nobody really stood out. I mean, I like Aubrey Plaza. She was fine as the mom. I liked Gabriel Bateman as Andy. I mean, everyone seemed to work. It was fine. There was no real other characters that really stood out. Everyone played their part. So there was no real standout performances other than Mark Hamill. Everyone did fine, though. There wasn't a character in there I was like, man, I wish they weren't in this. No, they were all fine. They all fit pretty well. When it comes to the people dying, I was really afraid that this movie was going to chicken out. And granted, it was rated R, and it did get bloody, and it got pretty gruesome at times, especially when in the third act when things are going crazy. It got a little over the top. But there were two characters in this movie that you're like, these two need to die, right? And you're just like, the movie went after them first, right? It went after two characters and technically a character, and the technically a character was kind of a jerk, but you'll understand when you see it. But then the two characters that deserve to get it, they get it, and they get it bad. And you're just like, tell me this movie isn't going to chicken out, and these are the only people that are going to die. And thankfully, no. The movie starts going after people that don't deserve it. So I give it credit for not chickening out and just saying, well, we'll just take out people that deserve to go, right? So there's that. When it came to how Chucky looked and everything, people were complaining about the look and everything, and it does look weird. But then again, this is not a human soul inside of a doll. This is a piece of machinery, and the way the mouth moves and everything just looks like a creepy doll would look when its mouth is moving. And what's funny is this movie is Orion Pictures is involved in this, and later in the movie there is a RoboCop joke, and it makes sense because it's Orion. That being said, a funny little connection here that I caught. I don't think it's really supposed to be that, but just something I saw. When Chucky's mouth moves, it's like really weird, and it kind of go like this, right? It just kind of it has a really weird motion, and it reminded me of the cutscenes from the NES RoboCop game. So I thought that was kind of funny, especially when the RoboCop line came later. I thought that was pretty funny, a funny little connection there. So yeah, this movie, I feel about the same about this movie that I did the original Child's Play. They both have their strengths. They both have their weaknesses. I would say the original Child's Play is more scary because Chucky had more character because there's a human in it. It's the serial killer, right? Then again, Mark Hamill does give a creepy performance. There is just times where he'll say a line or something trying to be funny at the wrong times. Kind of takes you out of it. That being said, most of the performance is pretty great. And of course, you're going to get a phenomenal voice acting performance out of a phenomenal voice actor. That being said, though, the ending of this movie, extremely predictable. That being said, I don't even have to tell you, and you know how this movie's going to end. It's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie. I will say this. If you can wait a week, there's a way better scary movie about a doll. That being said, horror fans, the general horror fans, are probably at least going to have a decent time with this one. Is it worth the remake? No. Is it offensive as a remake, though? No, it's not. That's going to be all for this edition of Talkin Movies. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Geno YouTube channel, like this video, and if you have anything to say about this Child's Play or any of the other Child's Play before it, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Until next time, I am your host, the Real Geno, Geno Reynolds. Are we having fun now?